very foreign to me that anyone could ever forget it was election day, but it happens. We check our polls in the afternoon, check the polls to see who's voted. We go into the headquarters in the afternoon and we call people. And we call them until they say, don't call me anymore, I've already voted. And we just keep calling them until they go vote. We identify them, and that's what the phone calling and door knocking is about, is identifying our voters. We need 56,522 voters to vote for Randy Freese for him to win by 3%.
How many?
56,522. So we need to go out in that 220,000 voter universe and find our voters. And then we need them to get them to the polls. Mailings. Bobby Likes, who works in Jill Tracy's office, has done a lot to volunteer for this campaign, and she helps us with our mailings. We have envelopes that need to be stuffed. We have postcards that need to be addressed and sent out. Anytime if you don't like calling and you don't like knocking on doors, come out and help us with mailings. Coalitions. We're working on a pro-life coalition. Senator Sullivan makes a lot of traction about saying he's pro-life, but then he goes out and he votes for a budget that increases funding for abortion services every year. He talks about, Dan and I were talking about this a few minutes ago, he talks about how he's pro-Second Amendment, and he's gotten the Illinois Rifle Association to endorse him by making a sham deal with them that if the House passes concealed carry, he'll give it an up or down vote in the Senate. Well, he brought Senator Cullerton, the president of the Senate, into a room with the Illinois Rifle Association, and they made that deal. But President Cullerton knows that Speaker Mike Madigan is never going to let that legislation out of the House. So they can make a deal to say, we'll give you an up or down vote on concealed carry in the Senate, because they know they're never going to have to cash that check. So they can promise anything they need to the Illinois Rifle Association, get that endorsement. And they know they're never going to have to follow through with it. And that's the kind of legislation that we're getting from our current senator. That's the kind of leadership we're getting. $16 billion in borrowing that he sponsored. He was the sponsor of the largest borrowing, or the largest tax increase in Illinois history in May of 2009. It increased taxes on businesses more than what actually passed in January, when he realized he was going to have a competitor, and he voted against it. So he sponsored it in May and voted for it, and it didn't pass. Then he voted against it in January. Has anybody heard the phrase, he voted for it before he voted against it? That's our guy right there. That's our senator. We've got a pro-life coalition. We've got a Second Amendment coalition. Farmers for Freeze coalition. Families for Freeze coalition. Veterans for Freeze coalition. If you're all interested, if you fit in any of those categories, all those coalitions really are being willing to sign your name to, I support Randy Freese, I'm a farmer and I support Randy Freese. We may have a coffee at some point, we may have some event for you to come to, but it's your endorsement as a farmer, it's your endorsement as an educator, it's your endorsement as a pro-life, part of the pro-life community, and we're looking for coalition support. That's one of the simplest things you can do.